I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
It looks as though Trump is on the F around and find out tour. The leaders of Canada and Mexico decided to F around. And now Trump is going to be giving them exactly what he promised, 25% tariffs across the board and 10% tariffs on energy.
We'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. Number one is the people that have poured into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that have come into the country. And number three are the massive subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits.
The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to distribute into our country, which has killed tens of millions of Americans. These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
As predicted, the mainstream media seems to think that Canada actually has a chance in this fight. And they are almost gleeful at the thought of Americans suffering due to inflation. What they forget is that California alone has nearly double the GDP of Canada. Canada is very much dependent on the energy exports to the US. And in response, Canada is going to be putting a tariff on imports from the US. British Columbia Premier David Eby added some flavor to his response by asking that his constituents no longer purchase alcohol from red states in the US.
For our first of many steps, effective today, I have directed BC liquor sales to immediately stop buying American liquor from red states. Liquor store employees will be removing the most popular of these brands from government store shelves. I have directed government and our crown corporations, like BC Hydro, ICBC, and health authorities, to immediately stop buying American goods and services and buy Canadian.
A major ask from Trump, and one of the reasons that these tariffs were created to begin with, have to do with the loss of lives from fentanyl. Nearly 100,000 people a year in the US die from fentanyl overdose. There are 10 known gang operations that are producing fentanyl in Canada.
I understand President Trump is concerned about fentanyl in the United States. Well, we're concerned about fentanyl too. It's taken too many lives here in BC and made people and communities less safe. We welcome US support in stopping the flow of fentanyl, drug precursors, and organized crime from China and Mexico. We all need to work together on this global problem.
If you're enjoying the video so far, can you do me a huge favor? Scroll down, give it a like. It signals to YouTube that this is a video worth recommending to others. It really helps out my channel. Let's continue. So rather than address the issue, they'd rather harm their own citizens.
I'm kicking my ass! Do you mind?
I also want to speak directly to Canadians in this moment. I'm sure many of you are anxious. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products. It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or foregoing Florida orange juice altogether. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer. We don't pretend to be perfect, but Canada is the best country on earth.
Is it
We always have been, we always will be.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
In order for Trump to fulfill his promise of making America great again, Canada and Mexico need to get on board with fixing the problem. In this situation, both countries can choose to cut off their nose to spite their face.
Mexico and Canada have never been good to us on trade. They've treated us very unfairly on trade. And we will be able to make that up very quickly because we don't need the products that they have. We have all the oil you need. We have all the trees you need, meaning the lumber. We have more than almost anybody in those two categories. In oil, we have more than anybody, and we don't need anybody's trees. We have to free up some of the tree areas that we have. We have great lumber in this country. We have to free them up environmentally, which I can do very quickly. But we don't need what they have. And for us to be subsidizing Canada to the tune of $175 billion a year and subsidizing Mexico to the tune of $250 billion, $300 billion a year. And Mexico is a method of China sending in its product. And with China, I'm also thinking about something because they're sending fentanyl into our country. And because of that, they're causing us hundreds of thousands of deaths. So China is going to end up paying a tariff also for that, and we're in the process of doing that. We'll make that determination what it's going to be, but China has to stop sending fentanyl into our country and killing our people.
Secretary of Homeland Security Christine Noem had this to say on NBC News.
You know, these countries have an opportunity to get on board with the President of the United States and to partner with us to deal with illegal immigration, to take back their individuals that have been in our country illegally. We want to repatriate them home, and they can be partners. So economically, yes, they will feel pain. They will feel what this consequences are, and will be able to continue to go forward with a president who's strong, who's putting America first.
Why is the United States punishing Canada, one of its closest allies, more than China, where fentanyl originates?
Canada has some work to do as far as helping us secure our northern border. So we still know we're extremely vulnerable across that northern border, that we have people coming into our country from China, from foreign countries. We have people on the terrorist watch list that come in over our northern border. And in fact, what we have sent a message this week on is that we're not just going to enforce our southern border. We're going to put extra resources at that northern border as well. So Canada needs to come to the table. They need to work with us to make sure that not only can we be good neighbors, but that we can help each other's economies by getting in line and making sure that our immigration policies are followed, and that those that are dangerous criminals face consequences. The president has been very clear from the beginning that there's a new sheriff in town, that he's going to make sure he's putting Americans first, and that Canada can help us, or they can get in the way and they will face the consequences of it. You know, you've seen the president take action already this week with Colombia, and you saw Colombia react in a very positive way that was good for everyone involved. Canada, Mexico, other countries have the opportunity to do exactly the same. So we have a strong leader. He has laid down exactly what he is going to do and what the consequences are. I encourage their leadership teams to get on board.
Late last night, Trump was interviewed on the Tarmac about Canada's retaliatory tariffs, and here was his response.
Canada's been very tough on oil, on energy. They don't allow our farm products in, essentially. They don't allow a lot of things in, and we allow everything to come in. It's been a one-way street. We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? We don't get anything out of it. I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada. And something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Jake Day. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow.